Now, in 1996, the Fontainebleau Conservatoire Américain celebrated its 75th anniversary. Colleen and I were over there. We actually stayed in the castle and we performed some of music by different students of Boulanger. And I understand you were involved in a concert here and wrote a beautiful essay about Nadia Boulanger, in which you said something that particularly caught my eye and that I want you to talk about. She said that there were a couple of bars of your music which she centered on, focused on, and said, only you could have written those notes, that music. I think that's such a beautiful thing for a teacher to be able to say to a student. And I imagine it must have really warmed your heart and had a tremendous influence on you. Talk about that. And if you like, I'll play those 4 bars that you referred me to in the piece that we'll be doing.
Thank you. It's an important issue for Boulanger to have a personality. In her last letter to me, shortly before she died, she said, the greatest gift a composer can have is a personality, and it is my great satisfaction not to have hindered you. She was recognizing the fact that she, being as great a musician as ever lived, did not have a personality as a composer. She could write perfectly good forêt, but she did not have the voice that said Nadia Boulanger when you heard the music. So she devoted her life to finding the few other composers, because all composers do not have a personality, the composers who did have a personality, and finding that personality within the composer to help the composer bring out that personality. So she heard in me something that I would later become. She was prescient in that regard because she also told me, back when I was writing rather dark, serious music, as only a serious young man can do, I hadn't learned that, as Oscar Wilde said, life is too important to be taken seriously. She said, you as a person enjoy comedy, and you will only be half of a composer until you learn to embrace the comic side of yourself. I thought she was crazy. She said it would take about 10 years. And after 10 years, I wrote my first comic opera, and of my 8 operas, 6 are now comedies. So she saw things in me that I did not even see in myself. That's why I said in my article, she helped us find mysteries within herself, within ourselves.
In ourselves. That's beautiful, Robert. Now, I let me play that passage the best I can on the piano, and we can talk a little bit about it, and then we'll talk some more about your operas, okay?
Thank you.
Here we go. Now, that's certainly full of mystery, I think. Part of it, of course, as you mentioned to me in our correspondence, is the recurrence of intervals, vertical and then horizontal, imitating each other. Do you want to say anything more about that? What did she see in that was unique?
She saw, I think, the emergence of chord types and the particular personality of that sound. It's a mysterious component. You can't put your finger on what is a personality any more than you can will yourself to be funny or to be loved. It's something that just happens. She was aware of that mystery, and she kept putting everything to us in terms of finding ourselves within that mystery.